We have videos from all over the internet that are going to make us question everything. You guys, make sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description down below. Thank you, Mike, for the next couple of videos. If the Illuminati had summer interns.
Is this O negative? I said O positive.
It's intern season here at the Illuminati, and as expected, there's a bit of a learning curve. No. You put the name of the person in the description of the Wayfair product, then you set the price at $10,000. Thankfully, some of what we do is pretty straightforward.
Just turn this dial. Boom, tsunami in Idaho.
We do maintain a very rigorous and thorough hiring process. If hired, what ideas could you bring to the table here at the Illuminati?
What if I told you that the Zodiac Killer was actually Ted Cruz?
Keep talking. Patience is key during this portion of the fiscal year.
Boss, send those nukes to North Dakota like you asked.
North Dakota. I said North Korea. Oh, God. What I want the youngsters to understand is learning to control the universe is a process. This doesn't happen overnight. You send a new set of contacts to Stevie Wonder?
I thought Stevie Wonder was blind.
Idiots. What? I thought the same thing about Helen Keller. Team building is a critical part of what we do to make the new hires feel comfortable.
My fun fact is I volunteer as a chemtrail pilot on the weekends.
Oh, very cool.
Boring.
While our workforce is always evolving, it is important that we continue some of our favorite office traditions.
All right, the next war is between Russia and...
Come on, baby.
Madagascar.
Yeah, I'm taking that one again.
Yeah, go ahead and throw that again. It's not a good idea.
One, this is not a 737 problem, it's a Boeing problem. When I first started working at Charleston, I was in charge with pushing back defects to our suppliers. I'd take a group of inspectors and actually go to the supplier and inspect their product before they sent it in. Well, I'd taken a team of 4 inspectors to Spirit Aerosystems to inspect the 41 section before they sent it to Charleston. And we found 300 defects. Some of them were significant that needed engineering intervention. When I returned to Charleston, my senior manager told me that we had found too many defects and he was going to take the next trip. So the next trip he went on, he took 2 of my inspectors. And when they got back, they were given accolades for only finding 50 defects. So I pulled that inspector aside and I said, did Spirit really clean up their act that quick? That don't sound right. And she was mad. She said, no. Said the 2 inspectors were given 2 hours to inspect the whole 41 section and they were kicked off the airplane.
In 1983, making $30,000 a year is
equivalent of $164,000 a year in 2023 and 2024. Yes, that's right. In addition, the middle class isn't dying. The middle class is dead. In the 1950s, the average household income was around $3,000 and the average house cost around $5,000. It wasn't too hard, yet about 2.5 times your annual salary and you could afford a car and a house. Nowadays, people are making an average of $74,000 in household income and the average house is around $450,000. So what would be considered middle class? The bare minimum of middle class in America right now in 2024 would be about $174,000 a year. And that's not doing well. Wow. That's just meeting the bare minimum.
Thank you, Melissa, for the video.
All right, I need all the Disney fans in here. In fact, I need everybody in here because I got one hell of a Mandela effect for you guys. So this came out last year. Disney celebrating 100 years of Disney with the wonder of Mickey and Minnie. It says 2023 marks the 100th year anniversary of Disney. As we approach the historic milestone, we are inspired by the journey we've been together and the fans and families who have brought Disney into their hearts throughout the past of the century. So as you can clearly see, Minnie and Mickey over here, 100 years, and then January 4th, 2023. Now, the ironic thing about it is this is over here.
Disney already celebrated their 100th year in 2002. You see, June 30th, 2002, my friend sent me the video of her Disney stuff. Check this out, y'all.
Hey guys, just wanted to show you what I found today. My little stash of all my little glasses.
So this is her 100th year memorabilia. As you can see, 100 years of magic over here.
100 years of magic.
June 30th, 2002. 100. Bottom of this glass has 100. They're glass jars, by the way, or cups. But yeah, so Disney already celebrated 100 years of magic. So what is this about? Is Disney trying to one up on us? Are they trying to take money? Could this be a Mandela effect? Like, what is going on with this, y'all? Y'all see that?
Thank you, Melissa, for the video.
Looks like the government in Argentina say they do not want to be left out, y'all. So there is another fire on a bridge. And you look at the bridge, there's still cars passing on the bridge, y'all. There's still cars passing on the bridge. And have you ever seen this before? How is that burning down?
That's what I was trying to
How is
figure
that
out.
fire burning down, y'all? I don't get it. And you got white smoke here, black smoke up there. What is it? But like I said, y'all, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe the government or governments are trying to tell us something, or they're trying to keep us from knowing something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because these events pop up when something is happening behind closed doors, behind the scenes, right? So y'all see this one, as well as the George Washington Bridge is also falling apart. Y'all see that? Look at that. And there's cars still driving on it, y'all. That's crazy. So how come now? Why now? Check this out, you guys. Have you guys ever seen this? This lady says it happened to her car after it started raining. Now you can clearly see what appears to be patches of tar, but upon further examination, they smelled it and it smells like rubber. But when you look closer, you guys, they are bugs. Have you guys ever seen this? Check it out.
I just see
So
him
Jeff
move
comes
because it
in
looks like
and gets
paint.
me, and he's like, Jamie, come look at this black stuff in the driveway beside your tire. And I was like, is something leaking? Is it asphalt? And he sticks his hand down, and it smells like rubber, and he sticks his hand down, and it's bugs. That is all tiny little bugs, and they're moving.
Let me see one move.
Look at that, y'all.
All of that is like millions and millions, and it's just on these two tires and different specs in the driveway.
What are those little bugs, y'all? Have you guys ever seen that?
I still want to see it move.
I've never seen anything like this before.
Me neither. And why are they on the tires? Why are they on the tires? And why so many of them? They're like millions and millions, y'all. And they're on the tires?
Out.
Does anybody know what those are? And what do they do? What are their special abilities? Because I've never heard of those things before.
Time out to
Y'all
come here.
seen this?
Because we wish to spread our message.
And give me the principal tenets of your message.
We are a collective conscious.
See his
And
name?
a cyborg sent from the year 2050.
Orion?
Sent from a higher civilization to warn people of the incoming apocalypse.
How will it end?
With environmental disaster, technological singularity, disease, and famine.
And will you fall victim to that demise at the
Sound
same
like he
time?
quoted the Bible to
collective
me.
you?
Our body will. The real Orin body will. But the collective will stay alive.
And the collective will exist in what plane? I mean, will the planet still be here?
The planet will be destroyed.
Okay, will you be mechanized by then?
We are already mechanized.
But you're not mechanized now.
We are. There is a brain implant, which is how we speak to you right now. Orin is but a shell.
Okay.
We don't have a brain implant.
So, as you sit here now, you're mechanized.
Correct.
Okay, because I thought I understood you to say that you are becoming mechanized.
Yes. We will become fully mechanized, as in the commercial sense shown on our shirt.
Watch this.
Okay,
But we are already mechanized.
I broke it
but
down.
not fully.
If y'all see
No.
my work,
Okay, just partially mechanized.
I broke it down.
But part of you has always had that awareness.
There's always been an interest in sonics, yes. Humans are innately connected to rhythm and beat.
Let me know what y'all think.
Do you enjoy the music?
It is pleasing, yes.
He's referred to as Lord of the Rings. Hollywood's still making movies about Lord of the Rings, and Americans just love it and have no idea in the world what they're looking at. They're telling you something, but you're not listening. So Saturn is the Lord of the black robe. Judges wear black robes. Catholic priests wear black robes. Rabbis wear black robes. Kids graduating from high school and university wear black robes. Black robes are the robes of the planet Saturn. Saturn color was black. God Saturn in the ancient Phoenician world was referred to as El, E-L. This is why if you're continuing today to worship the planet Saturn, you become known as an elder. How did you get to be an elder? You got elected with elections. Because you were elected, now you're one of the elites. You have become elevated. Words and terms are very, very interesting.
So have you guys ever thought about the fact that your whole life you knew that there was two governments under our country and just didn't even realize it? You were saying it every day when you went to school. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic. Just thought I'd share that with you guys, because I'm pretty sure most people didn't realize what they were saying. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
Thank you, Hector, for the next couple of videos.
The solar eclipse that happened in 2017?
Yes.
The news are like, hey, make sure you wear the right sunglasses because they sell fake sunglasses and don't stare at the sun for too long.
Yeah, they fry your eyes.
The warnings this time are make sure you have gas in your car.
What?
Make sure you have at least 2 to 3 weeks of food and water. Make sure you know where your family's at, so if you need to contact them, make sure you have an AM FM radio. Have a printable map. Oh, and they issued the National Guard to be in these cities during the eclipse.
Get your chickens.
There's a couple theories. One of my theories is that we're going to experience something catastrophic again, like this Earth opening up.
Yeah.
And then another theory is then that's when Russia is going to launch that EMP attack. And then that's why all these billionaires are building bunkers.
Oh, jeez. Guys, we got to get our acts together. Well, we got till April 8th.
Yep, we got it.
3 days from now.
Everybody, hurry!
But I'm not saying that to scare anyone. But I'm scared.
Dude, and that's just life, isn't it?
Death, am I right, guys?
Death, end of the world. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Wait a second. Flight 11 hit the World Trade Center that looks like an 11 side by side. They both have 110 stories. New York's the 11th state in the union. New York City 11 letters. And I'm like, wait a second, what's going on here? Is this a coincidence? But see, I know history. When did the Great War end? On 11/11 at exactly 11 o'clock. At that point, I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but I see smoke.
The majority of content that's related to the 808 is killer or sexual content. The original 808s was even off pitch. So that meant it's an actual sound in the track that you don't realize is there that is up your entire frequency. And now today, every time I hear a car come out, it's 808. But if you think about African music and hip hop and what we was breakdance to, it was light. The percussion. It was upbeat. It was the drums.
Most sophisticated machinery we have today, if you had to move a 70-ton block of stone 500 miles through the mountains, good luck. Good luck. Tell me how you did it. Tell me how you did it. You didn't even make a massive road and have these impossibly large metal machines to move this thing? What'd you do? You put logs on the ground and you guys rolled it through the mountains. And how many times did you do it? You did it 2,300,000 times? How long did that take? How'd you cut them? What were you using? How'd you figure out how to make it perfect north, south, east, and west?
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's nuts.
And that's why motion picture stars are called movie stars, because in the Bible, stars were referred to as lesser illuminaries. So these lesser illuminaries are working for the big Illuminati. So the big Illuminati are using the lesser Illuminati. The lesser illuminaries are just stars.
Now, we have pictures with the president with his hand stretched out, holding a red rose.
But I have about 15 major color pictures of communist leaders throughout the world holding a red rose in their hand. And these are from newspapers and magazines. I began to pick up on this because someone alerted me to it, that the symbol of the red rose implies not only socialism and communism, but a secret society operating behind socialism and communism that uses a red rose.
This way out Willie holding the rose. We find Khrushchev. We find
all the communist leaders,
all the communist leaders.
These terms that are on the dollar bill, that are on flags, take, let's say, in Zurich. In Zurich, you have the headquarters of the Illuminati. The headquarters of World Freemasonry is in Zurich, Switzerland. Over the door of that building is the term Ordo ab Chaos, which means order out of chaos. And Jordan Maxwell and other experts in this subject have talked about that means that the plan of government is to always orchestrate, to engineer chaos in order to create the order, later on. Out of chaos comes the order the people demand, security. All the events that we see down through time, tribulations caused by government, have this as a central principle.
The eagle with the double head, implying that both sides, both the old world order and the new world order, are being dominated by a third one. And that's what Ian Fleming in his James Bond novels was talking about, that there's a third power over the two. And it's controlling both. And that's the Illuminati. These people are causing, financing, organizing, and directing chaos. And for what purpose? To bring about a new order. They keep you frightened, keep you scared, keep you broke, and keep you on your toes. And while they're keeping this chaos going, Masonic orders, you drive by and you see the, in front of Masonic lodges, you'll always see the double-headed eagle perched on a sword, always on a sword. because they said real power comes from the sword. And that's the way you create chaos, is with the sword, with violence.
Wow. Why isn't this in the news?
What is going on in Alabama prison is about to shock you. Bodies are being sent back to families.
Huh?
And the people have no organs. People are begging and pleading to get out.
Something is happening in Alabama. Obviously, we've been covering Alabama since it was brought to my attention. An inmate, someone incarcerated inside of one of their correctional facilities, was about to die. Now we have allegations that bodies are being returned to family members without their organs, without their heart or their brain. The university, who does the autopsies per way of contract from the Department of Corrections, they basically admit to it.
What?
Double down on it and explain why they're able to do this, and you will not believe the explanation. This is a pattern that I'm going to expose here. I want to remind you of reporting we have already done out of Alabama right here at Indisputable. Here it is. An indisputable exclusive. No other news agency has this. Medical abuse, neglect, Alabama prisons.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I know I woke up like this, my lip look like my lip said face. You know, my lip look smooth, man. I can't get nobody to check up on it. It hurt on small. Yeah.
Families are getting bodies sent back to them without the brain, the heart, and organ. And they have the obligation to do this. What?
Thank you, Bino, for the video.
What did the original Jews of London and Amsterdam actually look like? In a 1600s book entitled Travels in Holland, the Jews of Amsterdam are described in this manner. Their men are most black, full of hair, and insatiably given unto women. In a 1700s book by John Mackey, a man of London, England, named Daniel Earl of Nottingham, who happened to be the Secretary of State, is described as a tall, thin, very black man, like a Spaniard or a Jew. In an 1800s book by Robert Knox, the London Jew is described as having lips very full, mouth projecting, chin small, and the whole physiognomy, when swarthy, as it often is, has an African look. James Shapiro, a professor at Columbia University, states in his book that when Minister Robert Kirk visited a London synagogue in 1690, all 200 Jewish worshippers at the synagogue were black men.
As we get set for a wonderful day in sports, opening day for America's national pastimes.
This was about 2 months after he took office. That was an interesting experience in its own right because it was so structured, and I was told, you will say every word that we write out. You will not deviate from the script, and go to the word. Like every single question was scripted, gone over dozens of times by
We're not surprised.
many executives, editors and executives. Absolutely. I was on script and was told not to deviate. It was very much, this is what you will ask. This is how you will say it. No follow-ups. No follow-ups. Next. I knew that this was a lot bigger than just the wonderful editors that I worked with. This went up to the fourth floor, as we said, that where all the bosses, the top executives, the decision makers are, the president of our company, the CEO, where they all work.
It's all a matter of our own perception of reality. That's deep. Now that's what I call art. Now it's a circle. It went from a square till it bends to now it's swivelly to a circle. That is crazy. In the description of that video, it said perception is the lens through which we view the world, shaping our understanding of reality. Everything from the simplest objects to the most complex concepts is subject to interpretation based on individual experiences, beliefs, and biases. What one person perceives as beautiful, another may not find beautiful. The older I get, the more I'm understanding that. Similarly, what appears daunting to one may seem manageable to another. Our perceptions shape our interactions, decisions, and judgments, underscoring the deeply personal nature of reality. Everything we encounter is filtered through the unique framework of our minds, highlighting that everything is indeed a matter of personal perception.
You talked about the diamond finesse, and you talked about how other cultures will just say, kind of finesse us when it comes to us buying diamonds.
Right.
So can you kind of expand on that? Like what exactly, where's the finesse?
So the first finesse is that you can't see with your eye.
Right.
Clarity. VS, VVS, flawless, SI. You can't see it with the eye. So why are you telling me that? Yeah, we got VVS clarity. Well, what about the color that I can see? You get what I'm saying? You can see color. Color start at DEF. That's the whitest of the white. And JKL turns into yellow. Off-white into yellow. And that's how you can differentiate the stones. But then when you look at it overall, this is not a whole carat. It's not even a quarter of a carat. So it's worthless. It doesn't have any value other than we make it a whole carat, adding up each stone to make that whole carat. And then you can't sell it because it's broke down into millimeters.
Till we get into business, because there's a thing called tax write-offs. And I would say to young blacks, get into entrepreneurship. And if you have a job and come together, 10 of you, and open up a corporation and have somebody run it, you have tax write-offs. 98% of people that fly first class on airplanes would not be there if that wasn't a write-off. And yet, on that first class, they gave away last year $800 million, almost $1 billion of free whiskey. But if a welfare mother asked for some apple juice for the baby, she's laughed at.
If someone needed a sign or a confirmation, or Yahuwah put something on your mind about a business plan or something and you haven't initiated it, or you just like, I don't know, that was the sign. That was the answer. Start that business. I don't care how silly it sounds to other people. I don't care if people are like, what are you doing? I don't care how crazy it sounds. Because you know what's even crazier is that they called Noah crazy until it started raining. Don't let that go over your head. They called Noah crazy for building that boat until it started raining. So it might look crazy to other people, but Yahuwah didn't give them the vision that he gave you. That's why they don't get it. Start that business. Whatever he put into you, have it come to life. Have that dream, that vision turn into reality. I don't know who that was for. It's for somebody watching. It might be for myself too.
Tandy?
You already know if I'm going to take it?
Wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't.
But if you already know, how can I make a choice?
Because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it.
I have to go back and watch this movie. Y'all know that movie, but for those that don't, it's called The Matrix. I have to go back and watch it with new spiritual eyes and hear it with my new spiritual ears. So there's a lot of stuff that went over my head. Probably the first 2 times I watched it. You know, the more you watch something, the more you start grasping onto things. The more you start seeing things that you've never seen or hearing things that you have never heard before, even though you've seen this movie a billion times. I have to go back and watch that because I love what she said. You already made your choice. You're just here to understand why you made the choice. That is real.
Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State in 2012, she said in one of those emails that was leaked by WikiLeaks, she said the best way to help Israel is to use force in Syria to overthrow the government. Now, why is the American Secretary of State willing to use American troops and American money to overthrow the government of Syria? There's no American interest there. She's doing it to help Israel. This should be considered treason.
4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Then this 2, 1,
and
2,
then 3.
and this 3, 1, 2, 3. And because of this 3, we draw these 3 lines. And after that, you just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is 9 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 here. That's your answer.
Hold on. What did he say? It was 1269. We about to do the math on that. First of all, which way do you guys think is better? His way? It's cool. It's just a lot of counting, or the regular old-fashioned way. But 423, because I'm not doing this in my head, times 3. He's absolutely right. It's backwards, but 1269. Okay. All right. Interesting.
So Russia has uncovered the truth about Jesus. I'm guessing it's a shock to some, but everybody's world is different, and it's based off of your intellect. Your affairs of life occur differently based off of how you perceive it. And if you perceive that Jesus had no color, okay, then that spiritual warfare is effective. You are now confused. Okay, confusion is set in. Just like you would never look at a tree and accept and understand that it's a cactus that you're looking at. You would never think a tree, an oak tree, is some form of a cactus. Never. If I can somehow convince you with my words, that's called spiritual warfare. And guess what?
Wow.
We treat trees and cactuses completely different. And that's how confusion, like, it manipulates how we move around in life. Okay? If you think that a tree is a cactus, you're going to treat it differently. You're going to act differently around that oak tree.
That makes so much sense.
Just like if you think Jesus had no color. Like if Jesus, it doesn't matter if Jesus is black or white. It does, if it truly doesn't matter, you're going to treat the idea of Jesus completely different. That's spiritual warfare.
Thank you, Eric, for the video.
Wanted to talk to you about CERN. Is CERN learning anything from ancient Egypt?
CERN is the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider. It's the largest machine in the world located in Switzerland, and it's all underground, and it uses this gigantic track, this underground tube that's connected, and they send atoms in opposite directions and speed them up to a percentage of the speed of light and then let them collide. They analyze the collision to see what comes out of this collision between atoms, but something else they discover in the process is that they create microscopic black holes. In my opinion, again, this is nothing that I've read, but my hypothesis is that part of the work going on at CERN is to learn how to create stable wormholes. What Einstein and Rosen called an Einstein-Rosen bridge, where you take space and you fold it, punch a hole in between to make a connection, a shortcut through space-time.
Has to be made primarily because of the bizarre opening ceremony that was live streamed to the entire world on June 1, 2016, that included this highly occult, demonic dance with characterization, beginning with a call to unite the religions of the world by conducting an interfaith blessing of the tunnel beside a statue of St. Barbara, the patron saint of miners. Following the blessing at the statue of St. Barbara, the press, along with visiting dignitaries, also paid tribute to the 9 miners who had lost their lives during construction of the tunnel. Bodillo's southern portal provided the visiting dignitaries a disturbing parade, really, of miners, erotic dancers, zombies, fallen angels, all of whom were obeying the call of what they called the shepherd, whose yodels invoked the appearance of the event's infernal master of ceremonies, a goat man, portrayed by a young and energetic dancing male. This creature is shown with a Baphomet headdress, a goat demon's head, if you will, and a goat body costume with a hairy pelt, and then it had a formal tuxedo over the top. The imagery was heavily evocative.
When was this?
Of the German and Bavarian Christmas demon known as Krampus. Now, according to tradition, Krampus accompanies St. Nicholas on his midwinter rounds with the intent to steal boys and girls, putting them into a basket carried on his back, or he may decide to beat them with branches for being naughty. Maurice Bruce published a book on pre-Christian Alpine traditions in 1958, and he had this to say about the half-goat, half-demon entity. There seems to be little doubt as to the true identity for, and no other form is the full regalia of the horn god of the witches, so well preserved. The birch, apart from its phallic significance, may have a connection with the initiation rites of certain witch covens, rites which entailed binding and scourging as a form of mock death. The chains could have been introduced in a Christian attempt to bind the devil, but again, they could be a remnant of pagan initiation rites. Many show the goat man in formal dress and a tuxedo-style cutaway formal coat and trousers, but with his usual horned goat face and always with his tongue extended. Now, this tongue out pose seems to be popular with ancient gods, whether they're Mayan, Hindu, Babylonian, Egyptian, Greek, or even British. For some reason, the coat of arms from the Prince of Wales supports both a lion and a unicorn with their tongues extended, for instance. More than likely, this tongue position represents sex magic, fornicating with fallen angels. The ancient symbol of the horned god, referenced by Maureen Bruce in the quote that I made a moment ago, it allows us to connect our goat demon from the opening ceremony at the GBT to CERN. Despite the fact that the Large Hadron Collider sits 3 to 4 hours down a twisty road from the location, the horn god's circular logic and passion for human depravity, Hernunos as is sometimes called, or Cernunnos, or the Green Man of British lore, simply had to make an appearance at this occult ceremony. Josh Peck and I and many other researchers have written extensively regarding the in-game plans for tunneling beneath the earth and smashing atoms to smithereens as nothing more than a thinly veiled attempt to open portals. But the opening ceremony at Gotthard made it clear that these portals are intended to do something else, and that is to release demonic entities. The twin tunnels of the Gotthard base tunnel commence with twin portals on a single track. These northward and southward journeys symbolize the death, birth, death cycle of the Green Man, who dies in the fall and winter and rises in the spring, summer. The tunnel ceremony was all about sex rites and rebirth, leading to a new world order that's a complete reversal of the Judeo-Christian design. This included the triple goddess and the horned god, along with human sacrifice and a return to pagan worship, all of which lie at the center of this nauseating ritual play, which you can probably still watch on YouTube. Dancers dressed as miners climbed at this rock face, and they dug into the earth, so to speak, to unveil what was beneath the earth, a great machine formed from human arms that rotated and churned into various shapes and design, many of which resembled the Large Hadron Collider at CERN. Once this opening was achieved, the miners stripped off their orange jumpsuit attire and took up arms. That is, they used staves to perform a dance routine that looked like warfare. It was this forensic dance that aroused a giant.
They should be ashamed
so
of partaking in
clearly,
this.
the endeavor connected to CERN is far more than Switzerland's braggadocio about an engineering feat. The connection between CERN and ritualistic summoning of a sleeping giant, the horned god of Cernunnos, or even Melkart. Both are types of the rising dying god, and Melkart slept for half the year, which may be why Elijah told the priests of Baal to call louder because he might be sleeping. Of course, I can only speculate, but I note the connection between Nimrod, Apollo, and Abaddon, Apollyon at CERN, and the history of the region are all highly curious.
Out of that entire video, what I want to speak on is the fact that Hasatan, aka Satan, is not smart. He's not one up. Like, literally what I'm trying to say is that he will take he's a how do I say this? He literally is the definition of you can copy, but the paste won't be the same. He will literally take something that Yahuwah does and perverts it. So everything that Hasatan does is a perverted thing of Yahuwah. Basically, he can't take the next step until Yahuwah takes the first step, because he's duplicating but perverting what Yahuwah has already done. Meaning he's not original. He's not coming up with this on his own. He can't make his next move until Yahuwah makes his move. So everything that Hasatan is doing, just know it's to pervert it, and it's the demonic way of what Yahuwah is doing righteously and first, if that makes sense on what I'm saying. Thank you, Alexandra, for the video.
This is a scientific study of what happens to your body when you read the Bible. Watch this.
Scientific study of what actually happens to you when you read the Bible. The study was done on people ages 8 to 80. On days 1 and 2, there wasn't much of a difference, but on day 3, they started noticing a change. Here are the stats of what actually happened when the people read the Bible 4 times a week or more. Loneliness went down 30%. Bitterness went down 43%.
I believe it.
Anger went down 32%. Alcoholism went down 42%. And watching pornography went down 60%.
I love that, because it really is true, because it's a testimony for me as well, which is why I'm trying to get into it even more, because just imagine you reading it more, just letting that be your day, period. It's just reading the Bible, because at the end of the day, like I said, the Bible is the only book that you'll read that will read you, meaning you will be able to identify yourself with the people in the Bible. You'll be able to identify yourself in situations that have happened, because I promise you, what has happened to you, you're not the only one. Somebody that you know personally is going through it, or you may have read about it in the Bible. But reading about it truly does help, because it's knowledge. I don't know if you guys know, but there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. And this was on me yesterday, but now I'm grateful that this is brought up, because I'm able to speak about it. The difference between knowledge and wisdom is the fact that when you read this, it's knowledge, because now you're learning about this stuff. So when the situation happens, which is wisdom, you know what to do. So knowledge is knowing, and you can't get the knowledge without reading. So you have to read to get the knowledge. And then when it's time, when you're faced with that, like with that situation, then you get to apply, which is do, which is wisdom. And the only reason why you know how to do that is because you read and you learned the knowledge. You read and you learned Yahuwah's mind, how he wants us to move, how he wants us to operate. Because the world around us is telling us to move a certain way, to act a certain way, to dress a certain way, to talk a certain way. But that's the world. And you already know what this world is doing and how they're leading us, which is far from what Yahuwah wants. But the Bible has you go back to what he has called you to do, what he has called you to be, how he has caused you to move, and so forth and so forth. So it's just beautiful to read some, because you have to know that this flesh is wicked. You have to know that the flesh is going to want to do stuff. But this is the spiritual warfare, the spiritual battle that we go through, because we know the flesh wants to do something, and we have to understand that our flesh is going off of what we see the world doing. But it's the spirit, aka the Bible, aka Yahuwah's word, that is telling us, I know you want to do this, but this is the better alternative. Because we don't think in the moment. We don't think like, okay, if we do this, all these domino effects can happen, which is what Yahuwah is saving us from. But y'all got to remember, the wages of sin is death. So he's trying to save us from that. But that's, going on a tangent. Y'all get it. Yeah, I hope I made sense.
Not what happens. You are never alone. You're never alone when you're alive either, but you don't realize that. Because when you come into a lifetime, you have a guardian angel, if you want to call it that, a guardian angel or a guide that is assigned to you specifically. They have to be with you your entire lifetime. They have to take care of you. They have to be there for you. And they love to help you, but they can't interfere. They can only help if you ask for help. And if you do, boy, do they take over.
If you take the battery out of your phone, I can still listen to you. In the old days when you took the batteries out, you take the batteries out and think you're good, and you go in there and skiff, and you can talk about whatever you want.
Right.
But I could still listen to you.
Yeah.
We were doing stuff that you could never find what we were doing, ever, and you never will. And it's in every piece of equipment right now,
What do you work for?
in every chip right now there's stuff. And where are we buying all the chips from?
China.
This chip stuff, I'm telling you, it's crazy. And then the fact, like I said before, Elon Musk was gonna have the thing where I think it's the neuro chip, if I'm pronouncing that right, and he was gonna like place that in the brain and stuff. What make you think that his chip is not gonna do 10 times more than what that man said in that video?
What's this?
Authentication is irritating. This is a developmental system made by MC10, and it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication. It may be true that 10 to 20-year-olds don't want to wear a watch on their wrist, but you can be sure that they'll be far more interested in wearing an electronic tattoo, if only to piss off their parents. I take a vitamin every morning. What if I could take vitamin authentication?
What?
This pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch, and it creates an 18-bit ECG-like signal in your body, and essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token.
Who you would really make mad? I get where she was going with that, because she's like, yeah, teenagers would get this because it's like a tattoo or whatever just to make their parents mad. But you know who else would get even more mad? The one who can basically kill the soul and the body? It's the creator, the one who created your parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, playing with this stuff is not funny. What is this feeling of having to have this chip or these chips or this technology inside you? I really think that they're taking the Terminator movie too far. Whenever we watch man mixed with machine, it doesn't go well. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what this is about this man and this technology merging into one. I don't get it. I don't know what it is that you guys want, what it is that you guys are looking for, what void you guys are trying to fill. I just don't understand. Those two are not supposed to, they're not supposed to merge. They're not supposed to be.
Dog, it is insane. Why can I build a career out of terrorizing my community or making a mockery of myself, and then I have a bunch of children who want to emulate me, and nobody really sees it as a problem? They're just like, oh, this is black culture, turn up. But if someone comes out the woodwork in order to hold our people accountable and protect the village and be like, hey, y'all, this is nuts, we tear into them as a people, that is crazy.
Someone in the comment section has said because the culture doesn't want solutions. They just want you to stop talking about the problem. Somebody also mentioned slavery, Willie Lynch letter, Jim Crow era. It's been all types of stuff. The war on drugs, privately funded prisons that fund music labels. The list goes on. Dang, someone even said our enemy has found our weakness and has exploited it ever since. And then also that's because we're no longer the ones creating the culture. These labels are telling people what to rap about, promoting negative things, and then calling it the culture and creating a new one and fooling people into thinking it's ours.
Say the weird thing. People are desperately seeking realness.
The main reason we went into Iraq, I believe, my opinion, was to stop Saddam Hussein from backing the dinar with gold, thus unseating the petrodollar from the OPEC agreement. And then we had to do the same to Libya and Syria and Lebanon and Yemen. And we're going to do it to Iran too, because the bankers want to protect the right to print these worthless trash paper currency units, so other countries have to use them to buy oil. And if they choose to use something other than the US dollar, well, $850 billion military.
Somebody in the comment section gonna say, why is he wearing his vest at home? I cannot. Y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. This was a very lengthy video, so I know with the editing, the taking out stuff, maybe copyright issues, it's not going to be what it is because this is an 1 and 7 minute video. I be filming long videos. It's just that with all that stuff I named, stuff has to get cut out. Some videos don't make the cut, etc, etc, etc. But thank you guys so much for rocking with me. I do appreciate it. I want to say thank you to everyone that has sent in videos. Please keep sending in your videos. Also, if you want to know how to send in your videos, join our Discord server. The link is in the description down below. This is how you guys get videos sent over to me. This is how I shout you out. This is how your video is featured on this channel. So thank you guys in advance for doing so. I also want to say thank you for all the love and support I've been getting on the shopperkyy.com website. That is my merch site. You guys, please Go support. And also with the supporting, please take a picture and tag me, send it my way so I can add you onto the website along with your Instagram name, Twitter name, whatever name you would like on there, because that's my way of thanking you and giving you a shout out for everyone that views that website to see. 800K is on the way, so I want to say that is a lot of people, but I am very blessed, grateful, and appreciative of you all. And speaking of being blessed, grateful, and appreciative, I want to give all esteem, all glory, and all kabod to my Elul Yahuwah and my Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach for blessing me, for operating in me. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a vessel that they work in and through, so I have to give credit and honor where it is due. You guys have a blessed one. I'll see you on the next one. Shalom, shalom.
You can't bring me down, I know who I belong to, yeah. What? I won't sell my soul, I know my worth.